Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leto Shabalala from Go Digital SA Foundation. I'm here today with Sphelele Mkhwanazi, and we'll be exploring Microsoft. I've got awesome stuff for you, just like I promised. And pardon me because we didn't have a LinkedIn session last week, but I promise you, you will get it again. And please, guys, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and also like our Facebook page. So I will introduce to you guys Sphelele Mkhwanazi, and he will talk to us. Hi, Sphelele. Welcome to our show. Hi, fam. Talk to us, man.
Okay, how how are you, man? How are you, man?
I'm good, bro. So, um, people at home that are watching
Can you
and
hear me?
listening to this, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay,
Relax.
okay.
Um,
I just wanted to make sure that you can hear me.
yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Sphelele Mkhwanazi from South Africa. Obviously, I think that's pretty obvious. I'm from South Africa. Richards Bay. Currently goes to DUT, Durban University of Technology. I'm studying IT there. Actually, I'm a third year student there. I'm doing my third year there. Yeah, I'm doing my third year. So I'm just so excited to have this talk with you guys today and explore some stuff on Microsoft. Today, I feel like we're just gonna touch on introduction. We're not really gonna jump into the heavy stuff most tutorials are. So I'm just super pumped, pumped. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be unpacking today.
Man, cool, 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 cool. That's awesome. Okay, so just a few questions for you, Sphelele. Just wanted
Uh-huh.
to know, like, what really inspires you and what got you into tech? Like maybe before we go on to that, just tell us about who is Pelele Mkhwanazi. Like people would like to know,
Okay,
man. Would like to know.
I really like that question, because I feel like a lot of people don't really sit down to think about why they're doing certain things, right? I feel like most people just jump into something just because everyone is doing it, right? Or for me, my my story with tech goes a little bit okay. It's not the most interesting story, but then it's something, right? So it goes back to high school. So when I was in high school, I didn't really know. Okay, actually, I knew I wanted to be a scientist. Like when I was in high school, in grade 8, grade 9, I kind of thought like science was so cool. I'm like, oh my god, these guys are mixing chemicals. Everything was just so nice, you
Yeah.
know. But then as time went on, I started loving computers, right? I started loving computers. Started loving computers. I mean, sorry. And then when I realized that you can change the whole world by just writing simple lines of code, and that is programming per se. From
Yeah.
that standpoint, that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do for a living. Literally, I could wake up every morning and go do this and be proud to say, okay, fine, this is my job. This is what I'm doing. Like from
Yeah.
that point, I just started like learning simple stuff. I'm not gonna say I was like a born programmer or like a prodigy kid. Like how most people are, just learn stuff overnight. I wasn't that. I only knew about about like what was happening, but not really the deep stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from then on, I started exploring. Basically, that's how I got into it. I was an explorer. Like, I was a curious kid, and then I
Dora the
just started
Explorer.
learning, and then fast forward a couple of years later, yeah, I am doing IT in university. You know,
Mm, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I feel like that's yeah.
Okay, so there's this question that's just ringing in my head, like people if they're looking at like your profiles, and there's this part of the Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador. Can you just tell us about that program and what is it about, and how did you get to know about the program, and what are the benefits of the program?
Sorry, wait, can you repeat the question? You're cutting a little there.
Could you just tell us a bit about the Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador program and what is it about?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, so you want me to tell you about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors program? Is that what you're asking?
Yep. Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program.
Okay, okay. I'm just gonna explain this in my own understanding, so don't shoot me down
No problem.
if I leave out a few things. Okay, I'm just gonna
I
explain it
didn't know
in
anything
my
about
understanding.
it.
And okay. So for me, the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors program, I don't just look at it as okay. I'm not sure how most people look at it, but for me, I look at it as a community, right? Not just as a platform alone, but I look at it as a community that brings
Yeah.
together a group of these remarkable people from all over around the world who just right. Another thing, the best part about this is that most of these people are students, and now we're all curious. We're all curious. We all want to know what's the next big thing. Are we learning the right technologies for the job? What jobs are we gonna do? All of this is just like we are connected through all of those things because we kind
Yeah.
of have similar goals, right? Similar goals, similar interests, and then when we come together on this platform through those virtual calls, team meetings, conferences, we share these amazing ideas, and then maybe who knows, one day we might come up with something that's gonna change the world entirely, entirely. So to me, it's like a platform that brings together a community of
A
remarkable
family.
people.
Mm.
That's how I understand the program.
That's dope. Um, Without wasting any time, man, just like show us what is new. What is new? What you got for us today? People would like to know, man. Would like to know.
Oh,
Just
okay. So they have a couple of things. Like
mm,
if some of your watchers already know about some of the stuff that I'll talk about, is completely fine. I'm always keen to learn more. In this group, we thrive with innovation. So
yeah.
I'm always keen to learn more. Right. So I'm just gonna touch on a few things. And today the best part is only just gonna be the introduction. Nothing heavy. Right. It's just gonna be
Cool,
the
cool,
introduction,
cool.
talking about it. We'll look at
That's
some
what we
code a little bit
want.
later. Right. So the first thing that I just want to touch on that everyone's been talking about at Microsoft, and then even us fellow ambassadors, is that Microsoft released a platform called Microsoft Viva. I don't know if you've heard about that. Have you heard about it?
I saw that like on YouTube, but I'm kind of like lost in it. Like, what is it? What it is for? I heard they're saying
Yeah,
that it's gonna
Microsoft
help
Viva.
out with HR,
Yeah,
but
Microsoft Viva. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
but
continue.
yeah, yeah, Microsoft Viva is how do I put this? Because I'm just so excited. I just want to make sure I put this into proper retrospect, right? So after months, and I don't know when they started developing it in Microsoft, but then I only found out about it I think 2 3 weeks back. Yeah, 3 weeks back, and then I'm going just through my feeds, and then I'm like, oh, what? Microsoft released a new platform called Microsoft Viva, and then I'm
Mm,
wondering to myself, what is this platform now? What does Microsoft have? But then before I could even just go and open the platform or start reading about it, that's one thing I knew. It was going to be the best platform. I knew that just by looking at the headlines, right? So I just, I read a few articles about it. So I'm just gonna explain briefly what it is in my own understanding, right?
Yeah.
So for some of y'all who knows or who've used platforms like Slack, are you familiar with a platform called Slack?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in my own understanding, I'm gonna keep saying this because I don't want people like shooting me down saying, "Okay, where did you get this?" This is based on my understanding and my personal experiences, right? So for me, how based on what I've read about Microsoft Viva, right? So Microsoft Viva is kind of like Slack. It's kind of like Slack, right? But then I feel like it's a much way it's a more user friendly platform than Slack. Because okay,
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I was using Slack, I was just so confused on what the hell was going on there. There was just so many tabs, so many channels, people talking about workspaces. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Right, so what the hell is going on here? And then another thing that would Slack is kind of like it's kind of like a standalone application, so it becomes really hard, if not possible, to connect it with your already existing applications.
Mm-hmm.
But now, the best thing about Microsoft Viva is that you know how Microsoft is always trying to make everybody's life easier. And by that,
Yeah.
I mean connecting their new products with already existing platforms. Let's say, for instance, if you notice how Microsoft Teams is connected with Outlook for emails, uh, Microsoft Excel for Excel sheets, Word, Access, literally the whole Office suite is connected through Teams, meaning that you
Mm.
don't have to have multiple applications running in order to interact with certain documents or certain versions of your work. Everything is centralized in one pane, right? Everything is centralized in one pane. So now, okay, right at the moment, Microsoft Viva is not out yet. I think it's still in preview on Microsoft employees, right? Because I was
Yeah.
checking for it online, right? Probably think I'm gonna get preview, but unfortunately I couldn't. Unfortunately I couldn't. But it's gonna be coming out in the next few months. So everything is centralized there. It's kind of like Slack, their workspaces, uh, where organizations can have their employees there and then manage them since everything is going remote now, right? Everything is
Mm-hmm.
going remote. So now what Microsoft Viva does is just creating this amazing ecosystem of employees and employers. So now it's eliminating the constraints of not being able to talk to your mentors, your bosses, even your workmates is how you normally do in normal office working hours since everything is becoming remote now. There's
Yeah.
actually a bunch of stuff there. There's Viva Connections. Viva Connections is kind of like for you who have used LinkedIn. LinkedIn, have you noticed how LinkedIn has something called Connections? If you notice
Yep.
that
Yep. Yep. Yep.
something called Connections on LinkedIn. So Viva has something called Connections. Uh, let me check. Let me just double check on documentation. I just want to make sure I'm reading the right thing. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. So it has something called Viva Connections. Now with Viva Connections, what it does, it's kind of like a gateway to your digital space, right? It's like a gateway to your digital space. So now all of your employees, as let's say as a manager, right? As a manager, so on your Viva connections, you're gonna see all your employees there, and then you're gonna create like let's say for instance you guys are working on this project that you need. Let's say you need to ship it in 2 months or so, and you have like 4 to 5 teams working on it. So on connections, you can literally create your teams out of a whole list of your employees. So you say team one is gonna be working on the front end, team two on the database, and then team three is just gonna focus on deployment and optimization. So that's what you do on connections, right? And then there's Viva Insights. Now, Insights is I feel like more applications really adopt this approach. And why am I saying that? So if you notice that when you're working from home, yeah, usually when you're working from home, I don't know about work, but they say when you're working from home, everything becomes easier, but then you're more prone to burn out. Right? So when you're sitting on a chair for 6 hours, you're just gonna lose focus over time.
True.
So what Viva Insights does, it tracks how many hours you spend on each activity and then suggests like resting times. What do you like? What basically it takes care of your well-being aside from just working only. So it checks how many hours you've been working and how often do you take breaks. And by breaks, I don't mean like just sitting on your computer and just looking at the screen, not doing anything, but then totally doing something else to like ease up your mind and like make it for kids. Okay, I don't want to say for kids, but then kind of like take a step back from work and just relax a little so that you can just come back a couple of minutes later and then pound it to the metal with full force. So that's what Viva Insights is. And then the best part is that they even collaborated with this big company called Headspace. Have you heard of Headspace?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that on YouTube. I saw that on
Yeah, that
YouTube.
was I thought it was pretty cool. They collaborated with Headspace now. So now since Headspace specializes in meditation, people who can't sleep if you're suffering from insomnia or having bad anxiety, all of that is going to be there now on Microsoft Viva since they collaborated with Headspace. And also the best part about this, since Headspace is not for free, right? Now, if you already have a Microsoft 365 account subscription that you already have, you don't
Uh-huh.
even have to pay for a new subscription of Headspace. Now everything is integrated, so you're only going to pay for one subscription and getting all the benefits. It's like this little neat package, and it's like everything you want inside. There's meditation, there's working tools. I, I just love it. I'm just so excited about it, fam. I'm just so excited. I just can't wait to use it. Like that's all I can touch on Microsoft Viva for now. For
Yeah.
now, because I personally haven't used it. Also, all of what I'm saying is based on the documentation that I read a couple of weeks ago. So I can't really talk much on it because it's still in preview on a few people. Actually, not everyone. I couldn't even apply for preview. So yeah, that's just that Microsoft Viva. Uh, Oh, another thing that I was actually looking at a couple of weeks back. I don't know if you guys like using the CLI. Are you familiar with the term called CLI?
The command line interface. Yeah.
Yeah, command line interface. So okay, I think I'm gonna share my screen right now. I don't know if you guys
Please
are going to
share.
see it.
Please share. Now it sounds like a
Let me share
podcast.
my screen quickly. Let me share my screen quickly. Uh, I want to show you this cool thing. Right, I want to show you this cool thing. Share my screen. Show you. I'm gonna show you my favorite CLI uh application, right? So I'm just gonna show you my entire screen. Okay, wait. Actually, let me show the window. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Try sharing again.
Okay, let's just wait for it to load. Let's wait for it to load. It's probably still loading. Usually takes time. I don't know what's going on with my internet today. Then it should be up any minute now. Tell me when it's up and running on your side so I can continue.
Not yet.
Still nothing.
Nothing is yet. You
Luton
can
Amanch.
continue. You can continue. It's showing.
Oh, it's showing now.
Yeah.
Okay. So should I continue now?
Uh-huh. Continue.
Let.
Continue, bro.
Okay. I'm just gonna continue where I picked off. Sorry about that, guys. My internet wasn't collaborating. Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys. You saying something?
Nope. 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 Nope.
Okay. Sorry. So I'm not sure if you guys were using There's command line, the Windows terminal, but it's my favorite command line. I mean, we have different, like the different CLIs. There's Git Bash, there's command prompt. What else? There's actually a span, but I just like using Windows terminal because I don't know. I feel like it's flexible. It allows me to do a lot of things. Now, so first, I don't. So Windows Terminal released a new version, right? A new update 1.5, right? So what this update supports is this key feature, right? This key feature, full hyperlink supports. And what does that mean? So, uh, when I was creating my .NET applications or whatever, or when I was just navigating through my directories using the command line, like I know a lot of people who are using Linux know what I'm talking about. Or if you're not using Linux, that's fine. But then if you've worked with the command line, I'm sure there's been a couple of times where you just used your CLI to do stuff, right? And then you opened up ports, shut down ports, doing all of those things, right? So now with the old version, or I don't want to say old version, but most of the CLI applications don't have this feature that the newest version of Windows Terminal has, which is full hyperlink support. And what does that mean? Let's say, for instance, let me show you this picture. It's actually here. I don't know if can you see this picture? Can you see this picture?
Yep.
Okay, so okay, let me open up this utility so I can just talk about this more nicely. Sorry, let me open up this utility that I always use when I'm trying to explain something. Uh, we'll zoom it. Exe, oh, there it is. I'm just opening it quickly. Let it
We
open up
can't see the
quickly.
utility.
Okay, I think it's on now. Okay, let me check if it's actually on.
You're
Oh, okay,
actually
here it is.
sharing.
So, if you do you see this red line that I'm drawing here? Do you
Wait.
see this red line? Do you see the red line?
Nope. Try and open up like the whole desktop.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page before I just rush off jumping things. Can you see the illustrations in the picture? The red line.
Mm-mm.
You can't see the red lines in the picture.
Well, the words, the red one, build style.
Okay, you see one now. Okay, now can you see the red lines now?
Yeah. Uh huh. You may proceed.
Okay. So as I was saying, talking about the Windows Terminal, right? The new feature that came up on version 1.4. I think they released it last year. Let me check the date. It's actually here. Oh, okay. Sorry if I zoom in. The dates that they released it last year in November. Yeah, last year in November. The dates it was last year in November. So this new feature, uh, they call it full hyperlink support. So what this does, let's say you're working on your terminal, you're doing things, and then you stumble upon a link, or let's say you wanted to open the link through your terminal, right? And then now, under normal circumstances, right? Under normal circumstances, you would have to copy the link and then go paste it in your browser. It's just a whole new process. It's gonna take forever to do. But now, with the newest version of Windows Terminal, version 1.4, the links are clickable. So now on your terminal, you don't even have to copy the links and go like pasting them on your browser. You can click on the links directly from your terminal. Like, how cool is that? I personally think that's amazing. So I just like whenever I'm like navigating through my terminal and then I find a link that I wanna use or I wanna open in my browser, pasting it in my browser, I can just click the link here as it's shown here. Let me zoom in here as it's shown here. As it's shown there, you can just press Control and then click. Press Control. Press Control. Press Control. Sorry, and then right click, and then you get automatically redirected to the browser. which is pretty cool if you ask me,
Dope.
right? So uh, that's the newest version of Windows Terminal. You should guys probably check it out, and it's still in preview for your guys who like preview. I think preview is cool, like because you get to see a lot of new features before everyone does. It's still in
Mm-hmm.
preview, and it's free to download in the Microsoft Store. Like unlike like the other products on Microsoft, where if you want preview, you have to go request preview, email them, and wait. The best part about this, it's available on the Microsoft App Store. You can just go there, type in Windows Terminal. You probably see two versions of it, and then the first one would be the normal one, and then the second one would be the preview one. Right, so
Mm-hmm.
just go check that out. And then if you don't see the difference, I suggest you start by the old one, right, and see what I'm talking about because I feel like a lot of people. I was talking to this one friend, right, a couple of days ago. I was telling him about this new feature, and I was like, ah, no, you're probably lying, because he never used the old one. He just jumped
Mm-hmm.
into using the preview. So I'm telling him, go down the old one, the original one that's rolled out, and then see if this feature is supported, and then download the preview version, and then you see the difference that I'm talking about. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool, guys. You should probably check it out. Maybe it's time for you guys to leave out command prompts, because I feel like command prompts is just like it's not fun as terminal. It's not fun as
Uh-uh.
Windows terminal.
No, 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 no. Command prompt is a
So
legend, bro.
yeah, yeah, bro, it's kind of old.
But it's still the best. Oh,
Yeah,
it's still the best, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's still the
You
best.
speak a little. Yeah, bro, it's still the best, right? Uh, what else? What else? Oh, I don't know if you guys have heard about the news that came out last year. Because I'm just gonna keep referring to stuff that came out late last year. Because like right now, early this year, like just now, nothing new just came out. At least not on my knowledge, right? So late last year, uh, Kubernetes. I don't know if you guys know Kubernetes. But when I'm talking about Kubernetes, I'm talking about containers. Are you guys familiar with containers? What do I mean when I say containers? Let's to know what I mean when I say containers. Understand what that means?
I think I know what it is.
Okay, just to give a quick summary what containers are. So containers is especially when we're talking about containers, that's when we're talking about how applications are packaged and deployed into the cloud, right? So I'm just gonna compare normal deployment and then containers, right? And then maybe a little bit later on I'll put virtual machines there and whatever. So when I'm talking, let's talk about normal applications. So when you create an application, you go write some code. When you finish, you write your test cases, and then when you want to deploy, you have to deploy everything into the cloud. For instance, all the libraries the application will need deployed one by one, and then choose an operating system that the application is gonna run on, probably Windows or Linux. All of that can be confusing, right? But now when you deploy application inside a container, what it does is, as the word says, container. You put your application code inside the container and all of its dependencies. And by dependencies, I'm talking about libraries. Yeah, it's usually libraries, runtimes, like all of the things that your application will need for it to run. And also the best part about deploying application inside a container, it can run anywhere. And why is that? It's because all its dependencies are inside a container. So let's say for instance you have this Linux application, then you deploy it on the web. That Linux application can still run on Mac, it can run on Windows. And why is that? It's because all of the dependencies that application needs. I'm talking about the Linux runtime, it's inside the container. So you don't need to have that runtime on that machine in order to be able to run that application. Everything is neatly packaged inside the container, right? So I think that's pretty cool. You should really guys look that up or start like looking into containers. And I know a lot of you, if you know containers, you're probably thinking about Docker, right? I don't know if you guys know about Docker. Let's you know about Docker. Tell me what you know about Docker. If you do know about it.
Um, sh- man, like, what would I say? What would I say? Like, I
I don't know,
wouldn't
like just
say I wouldn't say that it's like a virtual machine, but it uses less resources than a virtual machine.
uh-huh.
Yeah, kinda.
You're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here, but you can
And then okay, you
explain. You can explain.
I can continue.
Yeah. But
Okay,
before we go ahead though, just maybe share with us some stuff that can help the youth out there at home. Maybe let's talk about
okay,
a person that's
okay, okay. So okay, sharing my content about containers, that that might be like a whole new different lesson. But then here's what I'll do, right? Here's what I'll do. I'll open up Docker Hub. I'll open up Docker Hub, and then so you just can so that you guys can just see what I'm talking about, right? I'm just gonna open up Docker Hub, right? So here, okay, for some of y'all who don't know what Docker is, right? So pretty much Docker is this amazing tool that developers use to build their containers. They just and then when I'm talking about containers, there are three things in the universe of Docker that you need to understand. There's something called a Docker file. Your Docker file is kind of where you're gonna write all of your container code. And by container code, I mean that's where you're gonna write your Docker image and then the container itself. So in the universe of Docker, there are three things. There's a Docker file where you're gonna write your Docker image inside, and then your Docker image, as I mentioned, and lastly, there's your container. After everything is written right inside your Docker file. So now what Docker does, it helps you build your Docker image, and now your Docker image is the application itself. So after putting your application inside a container and all of its dependencies, all of that gets turned into an image. We call it a Docker image or a container image. So now instead of you shipping your zip file of the entire application and giving it to your friends, you can just have one image, one Docker image, and just give to your friends. Give to your friend who's running Mac instead of Windows. They can still run your application, right? Give it to your friend who's running Linux. They can still run it because everything is neatly packaged into a container. Just give him the Docker image, and all of your application dependencies are neatly packaged inside that Docker image, right? So here on Docker Hub, you find stuff like it's kind of like an image registry, right? If you guys know what GitHub is, you're much more likely to understand what Docker Hub is. It's where most people push their Docker images, right? So for instance, let's say you guys you have an organization, right? Let's say you're the manager there, and then you guys are working on this you're working on this next big project, right? And you guys want to launch as fast as you can. So you have legacy code. I don't know if you guys know about legacy code. It's the code that you don't want to touch on your application. Let's say, for instance, you updating your websites. There's some features that you don't want to touch. You want to live there, but then you want to add more. So what you're going to do in order for you to have a standardized version of the websites for every developer that's working on a certain feature, you're gonna create an image of that application and then distribute it. So now when the developers are adding in new features, they can just pull that image from Docker Hub, pull it down locally, and then when they pull it down locally, all of the already existing features that you don't want to change are gonna be inside that image. And then on top of that image, they can just add whatever they want. Right. Yeah, you asking? I
nope,
thought she was asking a question.
nope. You can continue.
Okay, so you can pull down that Docker image. You can pull down that Docker image, pull it down locally, and then each developer that wants to add a feature on the already existing websites, they can just add on top of that Docker image. On that Docker image already contains the stuff that you guys don't want to touch, the stuff that's already been built, right? And then when you're done, the new changes are going to be merged into the image that you pulled, and then it becomes a new image, and then you push that up, and then everyone can have it. Like how GitHub works. You know how GitHub works. You say you write some changes on your code, you commit up to GitHub, and then everyone sees your code. It's kind of like that. That's kind of like that. So I'm not really gonna dive deep into Docker. Like we're probably gonna have sessions on containers and Docker alone in future. But right now I'm just trying to guys give you I don't want to say deeper meaning, but then a lightweight meaning of how containers work. I'm sure there's a lot of container platforms that you guys know, but then everyone knows about Docker. So when I say Docker, most people just think about containers, right? So yeah, I think that's it for containers. And also, guys, I should also expect a lot of .NET stuff. We're gonna be touching a lot about .NET in this channel. Okay, not a lot, but then we're going to try to touch on as much as we can. Where we're gonna look at let me open up the .NET sites. Open the .NET sites. Oh wow, why are they showing me Netflix? Open up the .NET sites. Are you guys familiar with .NET? Are you familiar with .NET? Let's let's
That is like Greek to me, so I wouldn't comment.
Yeah, it's big. It's big, bro. A lot of people asking, what is .NET? Is it a library? Is it a framework? What is .NET? Well, .NET is an ecosystem, pretty much. As it says here, it's a free cross-platform, open source like ecosystem where you find a lot of libraries there. Find a lot of libraries there. You can do web applications, mobile applications, desktop, cloud, machine learning. So basically, what .NET is, it's like this umbrella that has everything that you need. It's kind of like an ecosystem. Yeah, I don't want to say environment, but it's an ecosystem where where you find stuff like web development, mobile development, and then the best part about this, some of these frameworks, some of these frameworks that are offered by .NET can all be written with one language, and that's mostly C sharp. I know a lot of y'all maybe are Python developers, but then there's also this language called C sharp, which I love very much. Right. So most of the platforms that are offered by .NET, most of them are, you write C sharp on them to implement them. Yeah, you implement them using C sharp. But then that doesn't really mean you can't really use your favorite language like JavaScript, Python, and that doesn't mean you can't use your favorite frameworks, web frameworks like Angular. I'm just gonna stick on Angular. There's something called SP.NET MVC, which you use to create applications with, which we're still gonna touch on other sessions. But then right now I'm just kind of iterating on what .NET is. So .NET is an ecosystem. It has a bunch of frameworks and libraries, languages, and runtime. So the languages that are offered by .NET, that are officially offered by .NET and supported by .NET, is C sharp, F sharp, VB.NET. Yeah, I think it's like the ones that I'm familiar with are those three: C sharp, F sharp, and VB.NET. Oh, and Visual Basics. Oh, almost forgot about the legacy one. Oh, Visual Basics, one of the one of the oldest languages .NET ever released. But then the leading one now that they're supporting to like so much is C sharp. That is, I feel like it's like the more, like, I don't know, the refined version of the other languages with K, which came out earlier in the earlier years, right? So yeah, and then we have a bunch of frameworks there. The web frameworks. There's there's I don't know if I should touch on the frameworks. I don't want to get too deep, guys, because it's just an introduction video. I always get carried away. I don't want to get too deep, because I'm not sure we're going to end this session, but then I just want to make sure that I don't
Yeah,
feed you guys with too much info. Right. I think that's
before we
enough about
finish,
.NET, unless you have any questions.
yeah, before we finish, there's something that I saw. I don't know if maybe you can hear me. There's something that I saw
Uh-huh.
that C sharp is being changed. Like maybe if I want to print hello world, I don't have to like write maybe five
Oh
lines of
yeah.
code,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just only
Oh,
two lines of code.
so you want to see me do that?
If you can, show us. Oh. That's what got
Hmm.
me interested onto C sharp right now. I mean, like, I don't have to type
Hmm.
like the whole
Actually,
thing.
I can, but then it might take too long because I
Yeah, we're
have to
gonna do it
open up
next
my
time.
IDE Visual Studio. Yeah,
No, I'm saying maybe we can do it the next time.
yeah, I'm gonna do it on the next session. Oh yeah, on the next session, excuse me. On the next session, we're just gonna be looking at how to build a simple Hello World application using
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm sorry. A simple Hello World application using the
Messy.
language C Sharp and any .NET framework you like. So I'm just gonna do a console application.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. On the next session we're gonna be doing that, and then we're just gonna start learning bits by bits, and then finally building a fully fledged website with
Dope.
.NET. Hey, you guys are gonna have so much fun. I'm telling you, it's so much easy. Like it's not as hard as most people make it. You know how most people just be trying to look all cool, writing 6,000 lines of code, so many lines of code. You're gonna see in .NET, most of the stuff you need, the heavy stuff, is automatically generated. So
Mm,
it kind of abstracts the heavy stuff and only allows you to focus on what you really want, which is the minor changes and the primary features on your application. Could be a web or mobile, but then you're gonna mainly be focusing on web application. But you'll see,
that's
it's gonna be
dope.
fun. It's gonna be fun.
That's dope.
Oh,
Yeah,
also
man.
before we go, as it says here, .NET is supported in all it's cross-platform, and by cross-platform, what it means is it runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. So yeah, even if you're using Mac or using Linux or whatever, you can still follow our tutorials or our sessions, follow whatever we're doing. Since .NET is cross-platform, it runs everywhere. Even better on your Windows because you don't even have to download .NET. It ships with Windows. So unless you're using other operating systems like Mac and Linux, you might have to download .NET and choose your preferred platform. But yeah,
Awesome.
I think that's about it about .NET.
Okay, so how can the viewers at home maybe contact you if they want to connect with you?
Oh, okay. Contacting me is actually much very easy than most people think. You can find me on Twitter. I'll leave my okay, find me on Twitter under the handle Tory underscore loop. Uh, okay, I don't really like using Instagram because I feel like Instagram is like, for like people like showing off their lives. But then you can contact me through Twitter, and then from Twitter we can work out how maybe we can talk on Teams. Because I don't want to give out my email. Like I don't want people spamming me with those ads. You know how it goes. But then you
What
can reach
about
me on Twitter,
LinkedIn?
Tory underscore loop.
What about LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, I'm also there on LinkedIn. Oh, almost forgot. Yo, almost forgot. I'm also there on LinkedIn. With my first name is Sphelele and my last name Mkhwanazi. You can find me there on LinkedIn. On my profile, you'll see that I went to DUT. I went to DUT. Actually, my introduction. I went to DUT. Actually, I'm still there. You see a bunch of stuff that I like. Yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there, connect, and then say hi, and then maybe we'll have a chat. Who knows? But yeah,
Dope.
those two platforms I'm there.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being with us today. Um, I've learned. I'm hoping that even the viewers at home have learned. And don't worry, guys. Sphelele will be joining us like a lot of times, again and again, because I really want to know how to code in C sharp, and I'm hoping that you too would like to know how to code in C sharp yet, because
Most definitely,
it
mates.
has been made easy. It has been made easy, just like Python. So, yeah, I'll be really learning
Oh,
C sharp.
you're a Python guy. Oh, okay. We'll see. We can work with that. So we're gonna have to probably learn about semicolons because I heard you guys on Python don't really have to worry about semicolons like at the end of the line of every line of code. So yeah, I probably gonna have to learn that.
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks, guys, and hoping to see you again next week. There's another session next week, and don't forget, guys, about the Tuesdays. sessions. We still running the computer science learning series, which is the introduction to Python. Catch us at 5:30, same channel, and even on Facebook. Thank you very much, and see you again next week.
See you later, guys. Let us know in the comment section what you want to learn. Thank you. Stop sharing.